Hi guys, this is DIYM and I'm actually going to show you something that is deceptively hard sometimes. It's easy to other people, I find, more so than me. But yeah, if you have any kind of struggle with this, yeah, let's try to do this together. But basically, I got some just white crepe paper or streamers, I guess, at the dollar store. It was like $1.50 at my Dollarama. So you can get stuff like this at party stores or obviously dollar stores or wherever you can basically get streamers and party supplies. I'm sure you could even get some stuff on Amazon or whatever. So there's that. This is basically all you really need. You can add some other things, like you can add glitter to stuff. There's lots of things you could do. You can put embellishments on. I'm just showing you the basic way of making a rosette, and this is stuff you can store and add color to later, or even just make multiple different colors. I'm just using white because it's pretty simple, straightforward, and this is good for weddings or any kind of decorations basically. So you just need this, a stapler. Some people use a sewing machine and they sew this stuff. There's different methods on how to actually make rosettes online that I've seen, but I just wanted to try this method because I feel like hopefully it's a simpler one for me and you guys to do. You might want this to trim things up a little bit. Also, if you wanted to cover the middle, like where the staples are, you could just cut out some circles. I just did that with these punches. You can do it with die cuts. There's all sorts of ways of just covering up the staples. I already punched things out, so I just wanted to show you that and just put that aside for now. So yeah, you can also use glue. I like to use the Barely Arts glue. I find it's really strong for lots of different things. But yeah, you can also use other types of glue too. Some people use hot glue, all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm just gonna break out one of these. I just wanted to open this up. I did these before and they were kind of like an epic fail. Now I gotta find the ends. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm just gonna cut that off. I'm gonna trim this down a little bit more. And some people said if you want to make smaller ones, you can cut the streamers in half. I'm just going to make a big one for now because I think it's easier to do. Somebody also said to just try to get a yard or so of this. So I'm just going to do about a yard, maybe. Yard is like almost 3 feet. I've seen some people double this stuff up, so hopefully this is enough. I'm just sort of guesstimating and eyeing things. Because this is something that I'm not really that good at or familiar with, hopefully this won't take too many times for me. So I think you just start it off by pleating and folding, bringing things together in the center as much as you can. I think I have the most difficulty with this because I feel like my measurements are a little off, so it doesn't look as good. You do you. I don't even know if it really needs to be absolutely perfect. So if you don't want to trim things, another way to make things look kind of more perfect, I guess, is afterwards you can die cut stuff out. I've seen people sort of die cut stuff with circles or heart shapes, so that's kind of cool. I've been watching so many videos on this because this is something that's a little daunting to me, I have to say. I don't know why. Some people are better at doing this than others. I'm not much of an expert at it, so I just figured I'd give it a whirl for these videos and see if I can make it. So you just go in a circle. This is when things go off the rails for me. I'll just trim this off later. Once you get to basically the halfway mark of the circle around there, then you can probably try to staple it. Oh, I might need even more. Oh no, someone stapled it around here underneath, and then they just kept going. So we'll see if this works out. I'm hoping I have enough because I don't think I actually did get enough here. We'll see. Basically just keep going around in this circle. You might want to just give yourself as much of it as possible so you don't run out like me. But yeah, just keep on holding it in place with your thumb here. Somebody said of your non-dominant hand, I guess. Oh, do I have just enough? I don't know. Yeah, I probably should have had a lot more than this. And then I think you're supposed to, as far as I know, you're supposed to tuck a little bit. Just a little bit underneath there, if you can. Tuck it all like that. And then take your stapler and you do a few staples towards the center here. Do that. Okay, it's not the best, but that's okay. You can always trim off some of the ends here to make it look a little rounder. As I said, you can always die cut it too. Some people die cut it because it looks a little wacky right now. But yeah, apparently you can make these, if you get good at them, you can make these in like an afternoon, a whole bunch of these. So they're supposed to be fairly easy to make. And then I'm just putting a small, you can put a big one in the center if you want to, but I'm gonna just put a small one in the center. You can put something even smaller if you want to. I'm gonna try to cut this guy out. I haven't used this one yet. This is the next size down. That's a lot smaller. So you can just do that if you want to and just cover that up just so you don't get cut too. It also helps, I think. I'm just going to brush away these little bits here. And then I'm just going to use some glue and just put this on. So I'm just putting this here just so that the staples don't, number one, it looks ugly. And number two, staples might cut you a little bit. It looks almost like a little flower, which is really cute. I'm going to cut another piece for the other side. So I'm just going to flip that around and then glue this. I might actually use this bigger one because I'm probably just going to glue things down to something later, but the other one could be more of the front side. But yeah, there you go. So you can just make like a little doily type thing and put that on there. You can glitter up the edges. Some people like to use glitter glue around the edge. And then sometimes maybe they'll put extra, almost like a chunky glitter on. There's so many cool things you can do with rosettes. And then you can just store them fairly flat and then take them out for projects, fluff them up. There's ones where you're layering quite a bit. There's so many things you can do with rosettes. I think they're really cute. This is a very plain looking rosette, but you can do different colors, add smaller rosettes to the center. There's so much you can do with this. This is just basic stuff. If you say you wanted to color just the away ones, again, you can get different color streamers, different designs, because there's polka dot ones, all sorts of different types, right? So you can get that to make these rosettes. So these look nice on streamers too in general. But yeah, you could also, when you're coloring stuff, you can take an ink and buff on an ink. You could spray it. There's spray inks and things like that you can do a spray glitter. There's so many different possibilities with this type of embellishment. So anyways, that was almost like the first time I did a decent one. I threw out a whole bunch of these. I had another smaller crepe paper that I was working with and it wasn't easy to actually do. So I find if you get the wider rolls, they're so much easier to just make these rosettes. Anyways, I hope you guys like that. I'm gonna see if I can make a whole bunch of these and pop them in this video and just show you all sorts of different things you can do.
So as you can see here, I have a few different dies here. So you can make papered rosette, which I'm planning on doing. So this one has all different gingerbread in this. So this, if you cut this out of paper and fold it up, it's almost like accordion style. You just cut this out, fold this up, and then glue it together. And you might want to cut it out a few times if you want a big rosette, but that should make a nice big rosette. I also have this. This is actually interesting. So you can get regular rosettes too. It doesn't have to have this gingerbread design on it at all. You can have regular rosettes, but this is actually interesting. So this is a candy box with a little window. It doesn't have any sides to it, but it's a little simple concept. Everything here is from KS Craft. It's kind of one of the newer Christmas releases. I haven't taken this apart quite yet, but this actually comes with tiny rosettes that you can cut out of paper. I like to take some jewelry tool like this that has a flatness to it. It's a little easier to twist things out. It saves my fingers. Honestly, it hurts things less. And if you see pointy things like this, stuff like this, you can just take off. But if you see pointy things like this, it's a lot easier than hurting your fingers, right? And then you just toss this out in the trash. Yeah, so I'm just going to put the rest of the bag holder stuff aside. This is not part of it. It's a nice, interesting, small add-on, which is really cool. Yeah, they're just really tiny, as you can see by my hands here. They're really small, intricate rosettes. So you can cut out a bunch easily with just this a few times. But yeah, this is great for scrap paper. If you have some scrap paper and you're like, I don't want to throw this away because it maybe still has a cool pattern or something like that on it, but you want to do something with it. So you can always cut things out like this. It doesn't matter what occasion it's for. You can always save it for, say you're done with a specific occasion, but you've got all this occasion paper left over. You can always cut it out and even glue it later if you want to store it a little bit easier. But yeah, you can just make things for other occasions in the future. I think this is really cool. So I'm just going to cut out some stuff with this and this. I'm going to probably use a craft paper for this. So it's a little bit sturdier, but also a little more gingerbread-like. Anyways, that's basically what I wanted to show you because you can easily make paper ones too, not just with crepe paper. So yeah, so this is my scrap pattern paper collection. I have all sorts of different papers depending on the colors and the types and that sort of thing. So this is my pattern paper that some of it I made myself, like this stuff. This I didn't make myself. I just got this in a paper pack. This is just from packaging. There's all sorts of different types of scraps that I could potentially use for something. I ended up using this here. This I cut out a Scrap Diva Designs die, and it was like a coffee cup. You might be able to see that in my bow video that I made. And then I had some scrap on the side. So these guys here fit perfectly in these little spots, which I thought was really fantastic. So I ended up making something with that. Also, same thing here. There was a strip in the center, so I just cut one out there. This was just a very small strip of something. I could have made something else out of this, I'm sure, but I just basically cut that too. I made these. My nephews are really into video games, so I made card backings with this paper. I made the pattern myself. Well, this I think I took from the internet because it looked kind of pixelated plated, and then I turned it into a seamless pattern. Positioned the banana so it looks like it's falling, so it looks kind of like Donkey Kong if you're into video games. And then this is Star for Mario. Cool seamless pattern that I did. So I could get more out of this if I want to, but I might just use this for something else. But I got, as you can see, I made little boxes with another die from Scrap Diva. I can make more of those if I wanted to. But yeah, I've made a couple so I can put that together. These are the little papers I cut out. A similar color scheme. These are kind of nice neutral colors, not just, you know, pink and purple like I always do. So I'm going to put those together in just a moment. I'm just going to show you another thing here. This is a little bit more than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of craft card stock. It's not too thick, it's a little thinner, but it's thick enough to make a nice sturdy thing here. So these guys all came out. This was the die that I showed you earlier. They came out in here naturally, so this was the first one I did. And you can easily poke these guys out with lots of different tools. You can get small scissors and just hook them like that way. You can get, we will use pokey tools. I just use little pins. And you can save these, which is really great too. If you're making shaker cards and you want like little gingerbread men in it, you can save these guys. They just pop right out. So yeah, I got 3 out of that one sheet. So this guy here didn't cut very well, as you can probably see. I had to cut around here just to free it from the paper. So I'm probably going to not do anything much with that unless I want to stick some of these guys in here, tape them down, and just make a rosette that way, which I guess is a possibility. These guys are already out, as you can see. I'm just going to pop these guys out too. So they just pop out really easily. Maybe a little easier in the metal than the paper. It's a little bit of a time-consuming hassle, but it's not too bad if they have fun details like this. As I said, you can get all different types of dies like this. It doesn't have to be this elaborate at all. This just happened to come with a die bundle that I decided to get. Anyways, came out of that. All right, I just put these guys in a little bowl. But yeah, you can do whatever you want with this. You can always just stick it in a jar and just save them for if you're doing shakers, which is kind of cool. So now you've got this. I'm going to show you with this one because it's a little bit bigger and it's a little easier to show you. I've never really done this myself. So you just fold it on the line here, as I said, like an accordion. This is my first time actually making paper rosettes, I think. So hopefully it goes well. Whoops. It's probably better to get a score tool or something just so you can score things a little bit easier. Or you could just keep going back and forth like this, which might be actually a little bit easier to do. You want it to keep going like this. I was considering doing it the other way just because it's getting harder and harder to do, but I want to make sure that I get things the right way. That was a bit of a struggle near the end. I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to turn off the camera. Okay, so I folded everything like an accordion. So there's a few things you can do. You can technically glue things. I like to use my Bare Layers glue. You can also use an adhesive because that also gives you a strong bond. This one's a Tombow one, a permanent adhesive. I've seen people use hot glue, which if you want a really fast adhesion, that also helps. So I'm going to try to use the Bare Layers glue. If that doesn't work, I'll use this. I'm going to try to use this Bare Layers glue and see if I can get this to work pretty well for me. I've heard that to have a fuller rosette, it's always good to at least cut out a couple of these because this makes a smaller rosette when you're putting things together. Place them on and hold them in place until it adheres. And then what I understand, I think you're supposed to gather things up a little bit. Okay, so I actually might need a third one. I heard that this die was a little bit difficult to put together. You can even just fold a strip of paper and put that together too if you like that look, but if you want something more detailed, you can always do things this way. But let's see if the third strip of this rosette helps. And just sort of gather things up a bit in the center. Isn't working very well for me. It's kind of a struggle. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Whoops, this guy's kind of bent a little bit. All right, there we go. Now we got a cool looking rosette. Just sort of try to gather it up as much as you can in the center here. Okay, I'm going to spread out my fingers a bit. I've got this guy that I'm going to put in the center. So I have my hot glue gun, which I think is a little bit easier to do stuff with. More around the center, but I got some in the center. That's okay. Just hold that for a moment. That should hold that in place once it cools down. Okay, and I'm going to flip it over and then do this guy on the other side. Now I have a little more control because I've got my hands free. Always some sort of string, right? With hot glue. All right, there we go. And you can decorate this however you'd like. Decide on which one you prefer as the front part. I think this is kind of a nicer part right here. So you can just decorate this, and I'll show you a few different ways to decorate that. And I got some glue on my mat, unfortunately, but that's okay. It just peels right up, which is a nice thing about that. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to make these little ones, which I think might be a little bit difficult, but let's give it a whirl anyways.
I might be doing it wrong, so somebody might be yelling at me and being like, no, that's not how you do it. This is my very first time doing it, so I'm just showing you what I've sort of learned, but I might learn things along the way. Whoops, things are sliding in the process of doing things. I'm sure you guys have witnessed me doing that. And let's hope for the best here. Let's hope that I can gather things. I know it's a little difficult sometimes, but yeah, try to gather things more towards the center. Just kind of doing it. It's so little. It's very difficult to do things when they're small like this. Am I gonna do it? Is this possible? This is the most awkward thing. Maybe I should have done a third one too. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at this. There you go. Oh my god, it's so small though. That's why it's so awkward. Okay, let's try to gather. I have a small, I'm just gonna do it right in the center here. Small little guy here. Just add to the center just to keep things together. Oh no, it's really hard to keep together while it's still hot. Let that cool for a minute and flip it around. Oh, this is why things are going haywire here. It's okay, I'll just put that like that. This is just a very awkward one. Oh my god, there you go. And it's the tiniest little rosette. So cute. Look how cute that is, right? So I'm gonna try to make a bunch of these. Hopefully not as awkwardly as I did. This is a little bit bunched up here, which I don't love, but you get the picture, right? And then you can decorate these. You can put them on bows, put little cabochons or something like that in the center. So these guys here are made with these, and I just use the same paper as this, and then just some white cardstock. But yeah, these are just really small circle punches. They came in a set of 4, so that's that. So I just wanted to show you all the different rosettes I made. I made a ton of them. I put them in this. This is actually a leftover container from my protein shakes. It's this. I've also tried the tropical one, so it's nice with my fruit that I put in there. So anyways, I've gone through a bunch of these, and sometimes I will use these for storage containers. So I have this. So I've got like a ton of these rosettes that I made. I think I spent 2 hours making a bunch. And I got a bunch of different colors. As you can see here, obviously I have a whole bunch of white. There's a few that I have circles on. Mint and this kind of light blue. I got a ton, guys. I'm telling you, you could whip these up when you get used to it. I don't know if I'm fully used to making these, but you can whip these up in a couple hours. And then I sat there and just trimmed a bunch just with scissors. And then you can match colors to projects if you want to put things in the center. So anyways, that's all the ones that I made just randomly. So I started getting to the point where I wasn't cutting things beforehand. I kept making them and then cutting them afterwards and then finishing them off. But the first few rounds I had some leftover crepe paper. So I folded it up and made a little bit of a ruffle, and then I just stuck some washi tape down. And this is actually washi tape too, this lace. I just put them across. It's not the best thing ever, but in case you didn't want to throw something out, you had too much ribbon and you wanted to do something with it, you can always make little ruffles. It's probably better to sew ribbon. You've got fabric. You could probably sew this as well if you wanted to, but I taped this down and it seemed to work pretty well. And then I think I just taped the back just so that things are a little bit sturdier. But you can sort of put this on the side of a card, or you can do all sorts of different things with ruffles. Sometimes people put them on bag toppers just for a little bit of extra embellishment when they're layering things. But anyways, so I've got all these crepe paper rosettes that I made, and I just wanted to show you a few other things that you can do. So I'm gonna put some of these aside. So I've got some really cool color combinations here, but I don't have a pink one. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to make a pink, and hopefully it works out. So I'm going to take one, and you can always put a stencil over top, like say you've got like a polka dot stencil or a cool zigzag. You can put it over top of it if you have a special stencil maker thing. You can do that if you want to. So there's a few different things you can do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this and some ink. You can ink the edges, you can ink the whole thing, whatever. Another thing you could potentially do is some people will have ink sprays, so you can do all sorts of cool different colors. So what I wanted to do is get some pink on my brush here. If you want to, you can get some of it off, or you can just go directly on here and make a pink rosette. And you can just do the center, or you can do the edges. I'm going to do the whole thing. You might get your hands a little bit inky doing this sort of project, but it's kind of half the fun getting dirty, right? But yeah, so I just basically made this white rosette pink. It's not exactly perfectly dyed, but it's not too bad. And then you can stick something in the center and that would look really pretty. Obviously, that's just a placeholder circle, but I mean, you can do both sides if you'd like, but I would just let this dry for a bit. You can do all sorts of different cool colors. So as you can see, I've taken a few trips to the dollar store around Halloween. I got a lot of birthday cupcakes and this Halloween cupcake, but you can get all sorts of different types of designs. I thought this was really good for making a bunch of birthday ones. These ones are nice for any time of year.
center, and there's all sorts of different colors kind of like this. But yeah, if you can find cool, really cute cupcake liners, that's a really fun thing you could do. Basically, all you do, there's a few different ways of making these too. This is one of the simplest rosettes you can potentially make. And sometimes people like to scrunch it up, scrunch it in the center to make a little rosette. Or, and you can just have it flatter. This one doesn't want to go too flat. And you can put something like this in the center. Like that. You can do a smaller rosette like that in the center. And that's really cute on, say, a birthday present. That's just one idea. So these guys are a lot smaller for mini cupcakes. But yeah, this is really cool if you want to, say, a pirate rosette thing, right? This might be fun to do, like a Donkey Kong rosette. Right? Because I think there's some pirate elements of the Donkey Kong video game. So another really cool thing that I did was I made this spiderweb doily. This is really cool and fun for, say, Halloween, or obviously people who love spiders or detailed doilies. It's hard for me to find regular doilies, but you can get doily dies as well. There's almost like a die for everything. I basically made it with this die, so you can make black spider webs. That's just the example given on the website. It does have a center. You can get regular circle dies if you want to, just to do a regular center. It also comes with this spiral thing for the center as well, in case you wanted to decorate that up. But doily dies, or just doilies in general, can play nicely with rosettes. So if you have doilies, it definitely helps to make something look really cool. Anyways, I'm just gonna get out a few of my embellishments, and then I'll show you what I can do to decorate this stuff. Also, if anyone's wondering what this paper is, I use a white glitter cardstock. It's a no shed glitter, which is perfect for somebody like me who loves sparkly things, but I don't like how it sheds everywhere. I think it's a problem for a lot of people. So I think a lot of people like the look of glitter, but the fact that it sheds is not really great. I did find this on Amazon. I think it's starting to be harder and harder to find on Amazon specifically, but yeah, if I'm lucky enough to find it, I will try to link it down below. I have a bunch of this stuff, so there's about 15 sheets that comes with, and you can also print stuff up if you'd like to. I've actually printed a few things on this glittery paper before, and it works pretty nicely and just glitters up anything that you like. So I think that that's a really, really cool paper in case you're interested. Also, my black cardstock that I have, it's like this. It's also a no shed glitter. You don't see any glitter coming off on my hands whatsoever, but this is great for Halloween projects too. Black and white, they go with lots of different things, and if you can find other colors, obviously that's really cool too. I just like the fact that you can print on this, or you can color on this, and make almost anything you want. So that's why I tend to go towards the white glitter stuff. So that's that. Okay, so I made these digitally, and you can always make some of these sentiments with dies. So I was thinking, obviously you can use the rosettes for almost anything, for doing a swap and just layer things up on them, any kind of little embellishment. I've got a whole bunch of different little embellishments here, a lot of Christmas ones that I just made. I'll show you a few other embellishments later on in this video. I'll just get out my embellishment box and just show you a few different things you can do for different holidays and things. So I made this just for sentiments that I thought would be really good. So you're doing a cookie swap party or a ugly Christmas sweater party, and I know these are mostly Christmas parties, but I just figured it's a good time of year to be making stuff like this. So you could do these guys as prizes, like award ribbons, or you can put them on top of bags that you can give out to people at these events, right? So you could make a badge, you can make a wand with rosettes using a straw, some balsa wood, and stick it up inside the straw just to make it a lot sturdier, because paper straws are cute, but they're not always the sturdiest thing in the world. But anyways, so what I wanted to do is I basically made a whole bunch of different categories. Say you want to hand out prizes and all that at your cookie swap or your ugly Christmas sweater, right? I don't know if I'm gonna do something like that this year, but it's always fun to have stuff like this prepared in case you do want to throw something like that. It just makes things a lot easier in case you do want to throw something like that and you're just gonna have things at the ready, so you don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, so you can die cut out stuff like this, like an oval, or you can do rectangular die cutting, whatever the heck you want to do, or you can just cut it, which is what I'm probably going to do, just cut it with a trimmer. And I'm going to cut this out, so I'll show you. And then you just stick the sentiments on a rosette. As I said, you can stick it on a badge that a kid could wear. Cookie tester would be a cute thing to give to kids. If you have a whole bunch of cookie tester sentiments, you can just make a bunch of those, and then the kids could either have them on a wand or they can have them on a badge, and they can wear it at the party depending on what you do. Or again, you can cut up a bunch of these, the healthiest cookie part of the contest. Maybe somebody won the healthiest cookie, or the best cookie, or quirkiest cookie, or most original cookie, or most festive, or most creative, cutest cookie, or coolest cookie, right? Maybe you did something where everybody could vote on what their favorite cookies are and then tally things up at the end of the night, and then you can give out little bags that have cute rosettes like this on them that look like little badges or awards. I think that that's a really, really cute idea for just handing out stuff. As I said, you don't have to necessarily put these on presents. Anyways, I'm gonna cut these out and then you'll get the idea of how to do this. But I just put one of my seamless stripe patterns in the background and I had it on an angle so it looks almost like a candy cane. And then I lowered the opacity on it so it's almost like a pink, a nice light pastel color in the background, but you see the peppermint look shining through. And then I just did the same sort of color, so like a mint color. And then I did a stroke to outline the words just so that that stood out the most. So that's what I did. I just did a whole bunch of those on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I'm just going to cut all those out, those sentiments, and then be right back. Well, in case anyone's interested in seeing this before I cut this up, these are all the different categories that I decided to put on here for an ugly Christmas sweater party. In case somebody wins prizes, obviously ugliest sweater, funniest sweater, cutest sweater, sparkliest sweater. And again, you don't have to use all these categories at all. It kind of depends. I mean, you can always stick this stuff on later when you see who's wearing what at the party, or you can tell people what the categories are if they want to go for a specific category. Anyways, so it's most creative sweater, quirkiest sweater, most festive sweater, most original sweater, most elaborate sweater, most flammable sweater. My husband really likes that one. Most colorful sweater, most rash-inducing sweater, the classiest sweater, and best pop culture sweater. So that's kind of cool because I find there's a lot of pop culture ugly Christmas sweaters these days, depending on if you find that ugly or not. But it's up to everybody's taste, I guess. Yeah, so I just thought that was kind of cool. So I'm going to cut a bunch of these up and I will show you what they look like on the rosettes. So I cut everything up, and if you want to, you can always scrap this stuff and just throw it out. But the nice thing about making a cool background, you can always cut down and you can use them as little peppermint pieces or something. You know, you don't have to throw things out all the time. You can use and recycle some stuff. Yeah, use your scraps. So basically I got all the cookie taster, or you can do cookie tester, which is also cute, sentiments, so you can stick that on a rosette. Anyways, so I have ugliest sweater, most elaborate sweater, there's like sparkliest sweater. So the sparkliest sweater one, I feel like you can do a really cool sparkly rosette. But anyways, I'm gonna just sort of show you what you could do for this. So you can make a bunch of these if you wanted to in advance and store them somewhere. But you could do all sorts of cool stuff. You can just play with stuff and pile things on. Layer what you want, right? It doesn't have to be all the things that I just put on here, but I'm just gonna leave these embellishments probably for not just these, but tags and stuff. Basically, it's nice to make a whole bunch of plain rosettes so you could just decorate it at your leisure. Put whatever you want in the center. Obviously, I'm not gonna do this, but this is cool for, say, a Nightmare Before Christmas theme if you wanted to do something like that. I thought this would be cute. These little Santas that I stamped out. I got these stamps here, yoga Santas, and you got some really cute sentiments and stuff. If you can see that, I don't know if you can because it's kind of a glare happening here. But yeah, so I did a whole bunch of those guys, and so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do healthiest cookie, right? You could do something like that. Again, you can have any kind of background you want here. Layer things up as much as you want, and you can use a doily. There's so much stuff you can do here, guys, right? This is just some Christmas stuff. I will show you other different holidays just so you get a taste of what you could potentially do with this stuff. Again, I'm not going to do anything, but you can easily just glue this stuff together at the last minute. It's always good to just have little embellishments on hand. You can just whip up a card, whip up a tag, whip up rosettes, anything like that, and then you can just send things out or give them to people if they come over. I'm going to show you a few different other things that I would have on hand. So I transferred a lot of my embellishments into this. I don't know if you guys remember me using this for some embellishments, but also some tags in my tag organization video that I did. I'm going to see if I can link that above or even link it down below. So in case you guys want to see that later, that's fine. So I made like a whole bunch of stuff. I redid this in different categories here just for my embellishments that are either done or I just cut stuff out. I had stuff in folders and things like that. So this one's my pop culture stuff. I have a whole bunch of different stuff that I've cut out that I'm going to color maybe later. I have coffee stuff I've stamped up or cut out of dies. I don't want to show everybody everything so quickly, but there's more coffee stuff. This is miscellaneous random stuff. This is board game pieces that I made for, I think you guys may remember this video. I did Monopoly and Trivial Pursuit necklaces and jewelry. So that's just extra stuff there for that. This is just bows and stuff. This is also words and random stuff that I've cut out. A crayon gift holder box that I made. On this side, I did a whole bunch of, so this is like stuff for Valentine's Day.
Day. And I think I might take this out and just use that here, but this is great for rosettes too, right? The little doilies. I think this is the last of the doilies that I have. So I was trying to get some more at the dollar store, but nobody's gonna know what a doily is. So I might have to buy some online. But anyways, so I've got Valentine's Day stuff. This is girl stuff, but this could be boy stuff too. But I've got fun little roller skates and swans that I've made. This is Ninja Turtles that look like they're decapitated, but they're easy to glue together. Baking stuff. Like summertime, so fun ice cream cones and sentiments for summer. This is, and there's some sentiments stuff in here. There's a couple of Halloween boxes that I have. A whole bunch of different types of Halloween things that I've got. All this different fun stuff there. And then this is the Christmas stuff. So I'm gonna bring out a couple things that I feel might be fun for everybody. So I'm gonna do Valentine's Day, Halloween. I'll bring out a couple of Halloween stuff because that's fun, and Christmas stuff. So I'm just gonna leave the rest, but I just want to show you guys what I can do here. Obviously we're still doing Christmas stuff because we've got a whole bunch of Christmas stuff scattered everywhere in case you wanted to do a Christmas party. So you could totally just stack this fun stuff on a rosette. I've got gingerbread Hello Kitties that haven't quite been made. Did a whole bunch of Hello Kitty stuff. This actually might be kind of cute for the ugly Christmas sweater party, but yeah, you could do cool stuff like this. Maybe like the prettiest cookie one, or most creative cookie, most original cookie, could be quirkiest cookie or something. You can do a whole bunch of fun layering here. There's so much cool stuff you can do with this, right? And then I'm gonna take this guy out, this doily, but yeah, you can put this behind things and just play around and just glue things down as you see fit, right? There's all sorts of different ways of layering. This kind of thing is cool. You can do a whole bunch of fun layers like that. Lots of ways to layer. You could always do, just ignore this mess over here, guys, if you can. You can do red. You can cut out stuff like this. All these cool little valentines. This is kisses. You can put hearts in the center too. There's all sorts of cool things you can do in the center here, right? It doesn't have to be a circle in the center, or even, I made my own sentiments. Remember I talked about printing stuff up on sparkly paper? So I've done that here. You can do stuff for your Palantine, or your Valentine, or your Galentine, right? There's so many things you can do with these rosettes. Just layer them up and have fun. And obviously it's not limited. You can always do the roller skate swans. There's all sorts of fun stuff you could do. This is just stuff that's stereotypically Valentine's Day things that's in here, but there's a whole bunch of other categories that I could play with to make a cool Valentine's Day rosette or tag or something like that. So that's that. So yeah, there's Christmas stuff, as you know. So you can always keep this here, or you can have an orange one. You can just have a little of this showing, and then let's see what we can come up with for Halloween. Fun little ghosts, a happy Halloween sentiment. That's a little bit too much though, I'd say. Put something like this down, make it look like a cauldron, you know, deal with that a little bit more. Maybe skull and crossbones in the center, a fun owl, that sort of thing. I don't know. Some of these don't really stand out that much though. There's this ghost. This is kind of fun. Anyways, you kind of get the picture, right? Play around. So you can do all different holidays. As long as you have different embellishments and stuff, you can easily just whip up a bunch of rosettes. And it's a really great way to decorate a package. Or as I said, you can make a badge. And you can have it for parties, or you can gift this stuff to people. Fun little rosettes. So that's pretty much that. As I said, I'm not going to glue some stuff down. I might glue something like this down on a few of these guys, but I think most of them are fine if you put them away, stack them in a big jar or some sort of container. But yeah, that's pretty much that. And then you have, if anything, I have all this sort of stuff that I could use for a party. I can always whip this up real fast if I wanted to throw one of these Christmas parties or something like that. It's always good to have rosettes on hand and to make this stuff real fast. But yeah, you can make cupcake rosettes, you can make crepe paper rosettes, you can make fabric rosettes. There's so many different kinds of rosettes you can make, and obviously doilies are really helpful when you're layering, and same with embellishments. Yeah, I definitely recommend if you want to make your gift giving extra special and up things a notch, rosettes are kind of a nice fun thing you can do. People swap Happy Meals with rosettes and things like that. So if you watch a lot of Happy Meal videos, you'll see a lot of rosettes and swaps. Yeah, I think that they're really, really cool. Obviously, as I said, you can make paper rosettes too. I forgot about that, right? You can make all these paper rosettes if you have specific dies to make them, or you can even just do it with a strip of paper and fold it up and then just make rosettes that way. But yeah, there's so many different ways of making rosettes. These are just a small sampling of what you can do and how to decorate them. But yeah, I hope you guys had a lot of fun with this video and checking out my collection of stuff that I've been collecting and making over time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, and a share. I hope everyone has an awesome day, and take care, everybody. Bye!